The car market has always been hard to navigate, but in this current market, all bets are off. You see, over the last year and a half or so, car prices have been slowly but surely falling due to vehicle production returning to normal, supply and demand, as well as just the pandemic entering our rearview mirror more and more. But no matter how much car prices are actually normalizing, there are dealerships all over the country that are trying to convince us, the consumers, that this simply isn't the case. So I decided to take a look at the top 10 best-selling vehicles in the United States, and I wanted to compare what you can buy these vehicles for brand new from different dealerships throughout the United States. These are all going to be the same vehicles, same year, roughly the same mileage, and similar or the same trim levels. But you'll notice throughout this video that many of these vehicles have vastly different prices depending on what dealership you're shopping at. First, we have the Jeep Grand Cherokee. The Jeep Grand Cherokee is the 10th best-selling vehicle in the country with just under 250,000 units sold last year. Keep in mind that while the Jeep Grand Cherokee does sell well, and all things considered, a lot of people do want to buy it, in general, Jeep as a brand has extremely high inventory. When it comes to how many vehicles Jeep is producing versus how much they're actually selling, there is quite a large discrepancy here. And whenever we look at the automotive industry as a whole, Jeeps have some of the highest inventory of any other automaker out there. And so while the Grand Cherokee does sell well, there are a ton of Grand Cherokees for sale, and this is absolutely not a car that you should be paying above MSRP for. And yet, not all of the Grand Cherokees that are selling for below MSRP, and the discounts vary quite a bit. This 2024 model Jeep Grand Cherokee Unlimited has an MSRP of $55,435, but the car is selling for $6,581 below MSRP at a price of $48,854. That's nearly a 12% discount off of MSRP. While this one, a very similar trim level, has an MSRP of $57,210, it's selling for $55,210, which is a $2,000 discount, which equates to roughly a 3.5% discount. Similar car, very different discount. The number 9 best-selling vehicle in the States is the Nissan Rogue, which last year sold 271,000 vehicles. After looking on the internet for the best deals, there are a lot of Rogues that are selling for discount, but the discounts do vary. And here you can see that while this dealership in Illinois is technically selling the car below MSRP, this dealership in Texas is selling for much, much cheaper. These are nearly identical trim models, but the Illinois one is selling for $33,269, which is just about $1,000 below MSRP, while the Texas dealer is selling for under $30,000, about $5,000 below MSRP. Next is the Toyota Camry. This is a car that sold 290,000 units last year, and it's the 8th most popular car in the United States in 2023. Now, Toyota is actually already selling the 2025 Toyota Camry model, but for the sake of this video, we're going to look at the 2024 model. The vast majority of Toyota Camrys are selling for at MSRP. Not many of them are selling for above, but also not many of them are selling for below, but you can find them. This one is selling right at MSRP, which is $30,530, while this one is actually selling for $28,682, which is almost $2,000 below MSRP. Now, one thing I did notice about a lot of Toyota dealerships throughout the country is this BS. You can see here this dealership is marketing TSRP of $43,487, which is already Toyota's made-up phrase to get around MSRP, but they're also applying a dealer-installed accessory package of $2,294, which is bringing the total purchase price to $45,781. Don't get it twisted, this is above MSRP pricing with a bad disguise, so never fall for this type of crap. Required dealer add-on accessories is just another form of dealer markups. The 7th best-selling car in the United States last year was the GMC Sierra, which sold 295,000 units. Now, before I even started researching the GMC Sierra, I knew that this car would have plenty of below MSRP pricing. Because trucks, yeah, they're not selling great. And because of the fact that there are a ton of GMC Sierra models, we're going to go with the Sierra 1500 2024 model for the sake of this video. And truthfully, with the Sierra, it's not a matter of whether or not you can find one below MSRP, it's a matter of how big of a discount you can actually find. Because after a quick search, I found dozens of them for well below MSRP. Now, these are not the exact same trim, they are a bit off from one another, but they show the below MSRP pricing comparison quite well. This one is being sold out of Kentucky. It has an MSRP of $76,455, and it's being sold for $72,995. That is a $3,460 discount, which isn't bad and for some cars would be quite good, but not for the GMC Sierra. You can do much better. While this model is being sold out of Missouri, which granted is a higher trim level and it has an MSRP of $80,350, it is being sold for $69,600, which is a whopping discount of $10,750. The Honda CR-V is the 6th best-selling car of the year, and last year it sold 361,000 units. And while the Honda CR-V does come in a variety of different trim levels, for the sake of this video, we're going to use the Honda CR-V LX trim. Unlike the GMC Sierra, Honda CR-Vs are not going for massive discounts, but you can find some that are priced better than others. Like this one, which is selling for $28,690, which is a $2,160 discount. This is from a dealership out of Florida. Or we have this dealership out of Tennessee, which is selling the exact same one for MSRP, which is $30,850. From my research of looking into Honda CR-Vs, and this is true with a lot of different Honda models, but especially with the CR-V, they aren't really selling for above MSRP, but they also aren't really selling for below. And while you may be able to negotiate below MSRP pricing if you were in person at the dealership, many of the CR-Vs that are being advertised on platforms like cars.com are just being advertised for MSRP pricing. Now, the 5th best-selling car in the United States is the Tesla Model Y. And last year, there were 385,000 units of the Tesla Model Y sold. And this is where Tesla is quite a bit different from many of the different automakers that we've looked at in this video, because with Tesla, you don't go to the Tesla dealership. There really isn't any negotiating at the dealership level, especially for new cars. So you order the car online, and as a result, the price of the car is the price that you're going to pay. So for the Tesla Model Y brand new in 2024, there really is no such thing as below MSRP pricing. But as we know from Tesla over the last couple of years, Tesla has been discounting their prices left and right, and there definitely is the ability to get a Tesla Model Y for a great deal, and that is oftentimes going to be the route of just buying used. On to number 4, the Toyota RAV4, which sold an estimated 434,000 units last year. Now, whenever it comes to the discount situation for the Toyota RAV4, there are two things counting against the RAV4. Number one is the fact that the RAV4 is a Toyota model, and Toyota, at least relative to all other automakers out there, has an inventory problem. They have significantly less inventory on hand than every single other automaker in the automotive industry, which means that unlike GMC or Jeep that are giving out below MSRP prices like candy, Toyota isn't doing that same thing. And secondly, the Toyota RAV4 is an incredibly popular vehicle. This car sells incredibly well. It is in demand, which means that getting a discount and below MSRP pricing on this car is much more difficult than other cars out there. But like many cars on this list, it isn't impossible either. Now, for this example, we'll take a look at the Toyota RAV4 Limited. Now, there are a lot of RAV4s at MSRP, like this one out of Washington, which is selling for $41,877, which is right at MSRP. And there aren't a ton of them selling for below MSRP. But we do have this one out of Texas, which is selling for $800 below MSRP, which is $42,288, and the vehicle is selling for $41,428. It is very difficult to find standard below MSRP pricing on third-party websites for the Toyota RAV4, so if you're wanting below MSRP pricing for this vehicle, your best bet is going to be to go in person and negotiate directly with the salesperson. The third best-selling car in the US is the Ram pickup, which sold 444,000 units last year. Now, similar to the Sierra, there are a ton of different trim levels and different models for the Ram pickup. So for this example, we're going to choose the Ram 1500. And again, similar to some of the other Stellantis-related products in this video, Ram has an inventory problem. There is a ton of inventory relative to its competitors, and so there are a lot of cars available, and many of them are priced below MSRP. There are also a ton of different 2025 models currently available for this truck, but for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about the 2024 model, and we're going to look specifically at the Laramie trim. There are just a ton of Ram 1500s selling for a discount, like no joke. But the one I found with the largest discount was this one selling for $20,000 below MSRP. But of course, there is also a dealer trying to sell at MSRP, so don't fall for that. Nobody should be paying at MSRP for any Ram pickup. The last two on this list are the two best-selling cars in the United States, and both of these cars are pickup trucks. Number 2 is a Chevy Silverado, which sold 543,000 units last year. And for the sake of this video, we're going to look at the Chevy Silverado High Country. And similar to other trucks we've talked about on this list, there are a lot of these trucks selling for below MSRP, but there are also some selling for at MSRP, and there are virtually none, at least that I could find, that are selling for above. The thing about trucks is that the type of discount that you can get and the type of pricing that you'll get are going to drastically depend on the exact model truck you buy as well as the trim level, because certain types of trim levels are in significantly higher demand even within the same vehicle lineup. And I think one of the best automakers that exemplifies this is number 1 on this list, which is the Ford F-Series pickup truck, which is the number 1 selling car in the entire United States, which sold 750,000 units last year. Now, the F-Series, as I'm sure many of us are aware, have a ton of different trucks under that name. Different models, different trim levels, there are a ton of options, and a ton of different price ranges. We have base or close to base model trims that are selling for slightly below MSRP. We have mid-level or higher trim levels that are selling for a bit larger discounts, still a bunch that are below MSRP, or we have higher trim ones like the Raptor, which are in some cases selling for below MSRP, but in others are selling for at or slightly above MSRP. Now, the point of this video is really one key thing, and that is that in this current car market, regardless of what car you're looking for, what trim level, what price range, in the vast majority of cases, you can find that new car for below MSRP. Unless you're going for a really highly sought after niche vehicle, you're going to be able to find new cars at a discount because in this current market climate, supply and demand warrants it. And on top of that, this video really shows the price discrepancy across different dealerships and across different parts of the country. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this video, there are so many dealerships throughout the country that want to convince us that dealer markups are still a thing, they are still recommended, they are still required, but that is just simply not the case. And if you look hard enough and if you do your due diligence, it really isn't that difficult to find dealerships that are in fact selling below MSRP. So if there is one thing that I could tell every single viewer of this channel, I would truly scream it from the mountaintops if I could, and that is, in this current car market, there is zero, and I mean zero, reason to be paying above MSRP for the vast majority of cars that are available to buy today. But like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.